Hello and welcome to Foundations for Algebra, Unit 4A, Lesson 2. Today, scholars will extend their understanding of the quotient of exponents to negative and zero exponents. So in the past, we've only had positive exponents. Now we're adding zero and negative exponents. So what happens? We're going to use the expanded form to see exactly what happens here. So here I have x to the fifth divided by x to the fifth. So if I write this out, it's x times x, 3, 4, 5 x's divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 x's. Well, each of these x's will cancel out another x. And we know that any number divided by itself equals 1. So this gives us 1. Here I have, different color. Let's switch colors. Here I have 2 to the fourth divided by 2 to the fourth. So I have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 divided by 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Again, each 2 cancels, and we're left with any number divided by itself is 1. And here I have 3 to the third divided by 3 to the third. Again, this is 3 times 3 times 3 divided by 3 times 3 times 3. Each one cancels, and I'm left with 1. From this you'll notice that each of these, if we did this using our quotient, it would be x to the 5 minus 5, which is x to the 0. Here I would be left with 2 to the 4 minus 4, which gives me 2 to the 0 power. And here I'm left with 3 to the 3 minus 3, which gives me 3 to the 0 power. And this is where we get this. Any number raised to the 0 power, is equal to 1. It doesn't matter what the base is. If the power is 0, it equals 1. You see here we have 4 to the 6th divided by 4 to the 6th gives us 4 to the 6 minus 6, which is 4 to the 0, which is 1. So anytime you have a number raised to the 0 power, it just becomes 1. Now let's look here. We're going to look at our expanded form. So here I have y to the third divided by y to the fifth. So that's y times y times y divided by y times y times y times y times y. So here, those cancel, and I'm left with 1 over y squared. If I did the subtraction, I would have y to the 3 minus 5, which would give me y to the negative 2. Let's try this here. I have 4 divided by 4 to the third. Remember that 4 has an exponent of 1 that we don't write. So I have 4 divided by 4 times 4 times 4. Those cancel. Leaves me with 1 over 4 squared. Again, if we did this using just our quotient property, we would have 4 to the 1 minus 3, which gives me 4 to the negative 2 power. Okay, let's try one more. Here I have 2 to the third divided by 2 to the 6th. So that's 2 times 2 times 2 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These ones will cancel. Notice that if there's nothing left on top, I automatically put the 1 on top. We do the same thing on the bottom. We automatically put the 1. Okay, so here I'm left with 1 over 2 to the third power. And if I did this by quotient of powers property, it'd be 2 to the 3 minus 6, which is 2 to the negative third power. Okay, so this is where we get this rule. The negative power property. So any number raised to a negative power becomes its reciprocal. Remember, reciprocal just means that we go from it being something like 4, which is also the same thing as 4 over 1. The reciprocal will be 1 over 4. Okay? So if I have any number raised to a negative exponent, it's the same thing as 1 over the number raised to the positive version of that exponent. So 3 to the negative 5th power is the same thing as 1 over 3 to the 5th power. Or the same thing as dividing. Negative exponents are also looked at as dividing by it. Again, when we have something like this, 2 squared divided by 2 to the 5th, we would subtract. So we get 2 to the 2 minus 5, which is 2 to the negative 3rd power, which is just 1 over 2 to the 3rd power. Okay, so go ahead and do your practice, and I will see you all in class.